Welcome to Meeple, uniting players around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Hey, and welcome to episode 98. The parallel flippin' right and rollin' right games inspired by our guests today. We're really excited to introduce them. But before that, I remain PJ.
And I am still Gareth.
You are still Gareth.
Yay.
And it's good to see you.
That's 2 weeks on the bounce we're together as well. It's like
I
a
know.
trend, maybe it works.
Hey, as long as you stop going on vacation, we'll always be together.
Yeah.
So I want to introduce our wonderful guest who inspired the topic of this episode. And that is our friend Tara at Tara's Tabletop. You have all known her as Tara's Bad Luck Club recently. Tara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm excited to see you. We were talking just before the episode how it's been over a year since we've seen each other in real life.
Too long.
Yep. We missed each other at Gen Con because I was an idiot and only went for one day.
That's honestly brave of you. There's so much going on. I feel I don't know, going for one day is like just a tease.
Totally. It was
definitely torture. He's torture.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's just self-inflicted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you had a post recently about, and you have to walk me through this again and remind me, but it had something to do with the trend in gaming about having parallel roll and write games or flip and write games or something.
Yes, I have recently been comparing games to their roll and write or flip and write or verb and write as they're known as counterparts. But yeah, there's definitely been like a trend where even like older games but Grand Austria Hotel just recently came out with High Society. So just even like re-implementing older games, I think trying to bring some life back into the game if it's been, kind of like off the scene for a minute.
So why don't we start with tell our listeners how long you've been a gamer? What was the first game that got you into the way I say it with people is the modern board gaming hobby?
Yeah.
And just give us a little background on you.
Yeah. So I guess, like most people have been playing games my whole life, but Pictionary was our family game. My friends and I played a lot of categories, stuff like that. It was actually when I first moved to Austin about 9 years ago. A friend of mine came over and brought Catan, and that was my first time playing like the more modern game. And I was like, oh, okay, I love this. And then, it became the thing like, oh, we should get together more often and play. And that never happens. Like that whole like, yeah, see you soon. And then from there, I played Ticket to Ride, which Ticket to Ride has had like a huge impact. I wouldn't say that's the game that necessarily got me into gaming, but that is where my friends and I started saying Choo Choo to pass our turn when we were finished doing action. And now we use that in every game we play when we're finished our turn. Yeah. We say Choo Choo to pass our turn. And I've passed it on to more people since then. Like I've played with like other people in different cities and states. And like the next time I play with them, they're still saying Choo Choo. So that's been a lot of fun. But anyway, it was definitely during the pandemic when everyone was kind of like getting their safe groups together, like where they would be like the only people that they saw. My friends and I started playing then, and a friend of mine brought over Dice Throne actually, and I played that and destroyed my one friend in it, and I was like, okay, I love this. And after that, I went to like my one local game store and was like, okay, I think I'm hooked. I need more. And then after that, it's been like, I don't know if it's been a downward spiral or upwards. I don't know if it's good or bad, but the amount of games I've accrued and played since then has it's been a lot. So, I think I usually accredit Dice Throne as being like the game that really started like the full momentum of it.
Okay. And do you prefer games with dice, or is that?
So I do like dice. Like it's definitely gotten to the point now where like I'm a big Feld fan. Castles of Burgundy is like my favorite game. So Yeah, I would say I do like games with dice, but I do like games with like that has like luck mitigation too, so it's not just pure luck. Although I do like push your luck and stuff, so it kind of depends. But I don't like games that are just like usually solely luck based. I don't know. It kind
Hmm.
of depends. It depends how quick
Yeah.
they play too. Like I don't like longer games that are just super lucky and dice based. But yeah.
And what was
Um,
your first roll and write or flip and write that you remembered?
ooh, that I probably welcome to. I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
What good entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid entry.
Well, let
Yeah.
me ask you this. What about Yahtzee?
Oh my gosh. I actually was just back home. I'm from Philly originally, and I was back home last summer. And my aunt was over at my mom's house, and she brought out Yahtzee. And I was like, "Oh, can you tell me how to play?" And she was like deeply offended. She was like, "Who doesn't know how to play Yahtzee?" And I was like, "I
Yeah.
don't know how to play Yahtzee." So, yeah, I just relearned how to play that. I haven't played it since I was a kid.
Yeah,
And
same.
I can assume that me and my cousins or siblings were not playing it right. Like we were probably
Right.
just rolling dice and doing whatever. But that's that. Like I didn't know what a full house was when I was 8.
Right. Right.
Yes, I haven't played that for years, but one where like grandparents taught us, and we played
Yep.
played it a lot, but we haven't got a copy. I have fond memories. Maybe it's not as good as I remember.
No.
Just
It's fine. I don't
so,
know.
yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, it's kind of like Monopoly at this point. Like I work part
Yeah.
time at my like local game store, and they just got in. I think Dragon Ball Z Yahtzee. They have Hello
Oh wow.
Kitty Yahtzee. They
Okay.
have like anything you can think of. There's a Yahtzee
Yeah,
version
there's a
of.
version. Oh, it's like Uno,
Yes.
Yahtzee, Monopoly.
Hmm.
I think, and I'm sure one of our listeners will correct me on this, I think that Yahtzee is the original roll and write, or the first roll and write.
I think so. Yeah, I
Probably.
think so. Yeah.
I mean, there are other games that are like roll and move, but not roll and
Mhm.
write. So
I think that's the original.
Yahtzee.
I think it is.
I think so.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's others, but that's the one that internationally we'd all recognise from.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
I'm talking, 30 years ago plus now.
Well, apparently, if you
Nearly
go on
40 years.
vacation, all anyone ever plays is Uno, right?
Seriously, this morning, I was on holiday and everyone's playing Uno, and then
Mm-hmm.
one of my friends' birthdays today, and a picture on his Facebook of his family on holiday, and what was on their table?
Uno.
No.
But Barbie Uno at that as well.
Oh, that's adorable. Actually.
Yeah, it was very pink. But
That's
right.
great. I have a friend here in Springfield who hates Yahtzee. Now, he doesn't hate roll and rights, modern roll and rights. He enjoys it. He really doesn't like Yahtzee. So we have a running joke at every Christmas and on his birthday, we find different unique versions of Yahtzee and we get it to him for his birthday. He's got this massive collection of a game that he hates.
That's
So-
funny.
unopened. Right, back on rolling rights then, or flipping
Yeah.
rights.
Or flipping rights. So Welcome To was your first. And do you still play Welcome To? Is
Oh,
it
I love
still-
Welcome To
yeah?
so much.
Yeah.
I don't play it as much as I would like to, but I mean, I think that just comes with the territory of owning so many games. I do sometimes go to playing it like solo on BGA if I'm just like looking to play something. I don't usually play it solo in real life though. But yeah, I just actually pulled out Welcome to the Moon last night and restarted the campaign because I only
Yeah.
did it like halfway through. But I just reset that and just played the first game. But yeah, I really do like Welcome To. I have not played Welcome to Vegas, but I do like. I think Welcome To and Welcome to the Moon are like near perfect games. I love them so much.
So tell me about Welcome to the Moon. We've been eyeballing it for some time,
Same.
and it's like, what makes it stand apart? Why should I get it? Why should I go buy a copy at my local game store?
So first of all, it is a dry erase. They do sell dry erase sheets for Welcome To, but it's like
They do.
separate. It doesn't come with it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's dry erase. There's 8 different maps. So you have like a plethora of things to choose from. The campaign walks you through how to play each of the maps. But it basically just kind of, I don't know, it's just a lot more options, I guess. Although Welcome To does have like the different, it has the different sheets that you can buy. Like it has like the ice cream truck one, it has the Halloween one.
Yeah.
the like Easter or spring one,
Mhm.
I guess. So there are different ones that you can buy, but most of them I think are out of like print. So like you can find
Yeah.
them some places. They're not usually that expensive, but still, it's like you kind of have to seek them out. They're not like readily available. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that the way they do it with Welcome to the Moon is really interesting because like each map, it uses the same cards, so the same like flip cards for all of them, but they're just like the way you use them is different. So it's just like I don't know, a lot of fun. Like in this one, like having the pink one might do something bad, and in this one, the pink one might be good. So it's like it just changes from map to map, and it's all kind of like thematic to what the map is doing, whether you're like in the spaceship taking off, whether you're like colonizing the moon, like whatever you're doing. So I just like how it changes, and it's like a different game with each map.
Got to say, Welcome to just been written down to go and play again. Back to games I haven't played for a while. Forgotten how good that game is.
Yes,
We've got all those maps, and it's that needs a revisit.
We played a game of that through video conferencing.
We did. The early days.
Yeah, it was Katie and I, and then it was you and your wife, and then several other friends from Southampton. It was like probably like 8 or 10 of us playing. That was interesting.
We should do that again. Right.
We should do that again.
Did you just have like a camera on the cards, or how did you?
We had camera down the table, I think.
Nice.
We had one looking down the table, and then you had your phone you were using to look overhead at the cards so that we could see the cards.
Oh yeah, we had 2 accounts connected. I think it was Instagram. It's like a group chat.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's more challenging when you have flip and rights are more difficult to do through video conferencing for that very reason.
Yeah,
because you have to see the cards. Whereas rolling dice, I could just roll the dice and tell you what the numbers are, and they work out. So yeah, but we got to play Welcome to again, definitely.
Noted.
Well,
and
let me know if you guys play together. I'd be down.
Okay. Yes. Maybe we could have a listener list. We could have up to 99 players, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I'm getting stressed. Maybe we could stream it through the pod. We can have a podcast special.
Ooh.
Anyway, we're going off. We're on a tangent.
A meeple to meeple roll and write of Welcome to. I love that. That's great.
Christmas special. There we
go.
There you go.
That's
there
adorable.
We go. Right.
There you go. Right. So, Choo Choo.
Seriously, I've written down Choo Choo in capitals, and it's starting this week at Games Night.
I love that.
We
themed it to like what game we were playing. So if we were playing like a fighting game, we'd be like pew pew, and like we'd always try to make it rhyme. But it got to a point where it was just like, I don't know what's thematic for this. So we just like Choo Choo was just easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's great because it lets us know, okay, I'm done talking. Your turn.
Yeah, it does happen when I'm like, if I missed, is it my go? No, it's not my go, but it's all quiet, and I'm sitting there thinking, have I missed it? So I think, PJ, we're going to talk about, I guess, Parallel, which I'd not heard it called that, but it's where there's a big brother or big sister board game, and then they've made an equivalent in a roll and write. And I was trying to think whether there's any reverse, but I couldn't come up with any. Like Tara's got one. Have you?
And actually, I don't even know if it's in Kickstarter yet, but it's coming. Railroad Inc. just announced that they're making a board game.
Oh,
it's on Kickstarter now. And that's a tile version of this. Yes, that is one.
Yes, that's the only one I have, though.
Okay, I sat there looking through the collection. What surprised me is just from my own collection, there's 9 where I have like the war game. And either a card or dice game version, flip or right, or roll and write. So I've picked a couple of my favourites. I think PJ, you've done the same.
I did. Yeah.
Where did I start?
Well, I've got just 7 in my collection.
That's pretty
not
good.
Nearly as many, and I just picked one, so I'm only prepared to talk about one because I want to shine on Tara because this was kind of her, She was the inspiration for all this, but go ahead. What you got?
Well, I was just going to say, I haven't played through all of mine yet, or like I'm still acquiring and kind of working through them. So I'm working. I can't say how many I had before I started doing this because I would have to like sit here and think and come through. But
sure.
I've definitely like acquired a bunch since being like, this is going to be something that
a thing.
So I'm just glancing through really quick. I probably have at least 20 versions of either both the game or one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a good place to start. So you're actively seeking to acquire all of these parallel roll and writes.
Yes.
So talk
Hopefully
to us
I
a
don't
little
have to
bit
buy
about
all
that.
of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of them I'm trying to borrow, but yes. Yeah, basically I did find a list on Board Game Geek that has like, gosh, I don't even know, like hundreds of roll and writes. And I've been going through that, and I've been finding a lot that uh, roll and write, or like there are roll and writes that were made after the board games. I'm trying to think. There's some games I haven't even heard of, like Skyline Express was one of them, and it's been kind of like difficult to find. But I found out Dice Hospital has a roll and write version, which is funny because Dice Hospital is like already a dice game. But I mean, I guess that's kind of like the natural transition. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a dice game too for Castles of Burgundy, which I was like saying earlier that I love Castles of Burgundy so much. I actually haven't played that one yet, but yeah. So anyway, it's just been like interesting to see like which games they've chosen to make into roll and writes.
I asked my wife what her favourite was, and that's out of my list, Castle Burgundy, the dice game, was her number one.
Oh, really?
So it's good.
What can you tell me, like, what changes between them? Like, what makes it different?
Nothing, except you. It's the same. It's the same. All the same rules. So the dice are rolled, and then you're picking a colour, and I think it's a zone. So you basically got different districts you're trying to fill up, but you've got adjacencies. You have to build next to your last square hex you filled in. Then you score points if you complete a territory first. It's very similar mechanics, but it's 10, 15 times faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really satisfying. And I think there's 2 boards. So the packs, there's an A side and a B side. So again, you've got 2 different variations on the map.
That's cool.
But if you want a quick fix of Castle of Burgundy, there's the dice game, and there's also the card game, which we also own.
I have the card game, yeah.
So it's very similar to, it's taking the core mechanics and flipping and making it work, which I guess is what the parallel thing's all about. Is taking the core of the game and then making it different enough that we want to buy it,
right?
Or at least play it.
So calling back to one of your first games, Tara, which was also one of mine as well. How about Catan? Have you played Catan dice game?
I have not. It is on my list. I've almost gotten it a few times, but I found I've been trying to get games like secondhand versus buying them new. And every time I go to buy one from someone on Board Game Geek or something, then it's like the game, like I've found the Catan roll and write for $5 and then shipping is $8. So then I keep being like, oh, so that's like the biggest thing that's been holding me back. But no, I have not played it yet.
We had a copy and just, I think we didn't really, I don't know, it didn't do anything new. And so we ended up selling it. It was just like, well, I could play Catan. So we sold it. That was a long time ago, but yeah.
I guess that's a test though, isn't it? It's if the dice or flip and write version is different enough that it stays in the collection and gives you either a new experience or translates well from the core game to the other.
I mean, I guess that goes to the point of like, what is the purpose of a roll and write? Like, is it to make a new game, or is it to make the original game compact so you can like take it places? Like, does it really need to do something different always, or like can it just be more accessible? I guess.
I think Isle of Cats for me is that. So we've got Isle of Cats, the full game, and we have it's a flip and write, isn't it? Explorers.
Yeah. Explore and write. I think
we haven't opened the big game since because Upheaval sets. So we always play the flip and write version. Just because of setup time, and it's a speed to having. It's the same. It is the same game. It's the same fix. Yeah, to me.
I think that's the first game I played that was a re-implementation of the game I've already played, and I got it only because my local game store had like a surplus of it, so they were selling it like at a discount to get rid of it, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then but anyway, we played that and we were like shocked. We were like, this is actually so good. So
So is your personal mission right now that you're a project you're undertaking, is it about the parallel roll and writes, or is it about roll and writes in general for you personally?
So I love like all roll and writes. I'm not like opposed to playing them. My friend just found one recently that's like a print and play one. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. So like I'm not opposed to playing like any roll and write. But just right now, like I just have been realizing how many versions there were that they were like translating, and I just thought it was like interesting. You know, for some people it's a better price point. It's like what I've noticed is for like say Lost Cities and Patchwork and stuff, it goes from being a 2-player game to being like a 6-player game. And like I said too, like you can take them with you anywhere. So it's like something like it becomes something that you can do when you're just like hanging out with friends at a coffee shop or a brewery or whatever. So just kind of like I don't know, I just thought it was interesting, and some people just might want to know like what's the difference, like what am I getting into, what am I losing by buying the roll and write versus like the board game, what am I gaining, so yeah.
So do you right now have a favorite that you're really enjoying playing a lot?
I think like, oh gosh, I don't know about a favorite. We did just really enjoy Patchwork, and that one more so is like, well, first of all, Patchwork is like my favorite game you saw recently, but I own like 8 or 9 copies of Patchwork. I don't even know. So I love Patchwork like so much. But I did really like the flip and write, like, or I guess it's a roll and write, flip and write, it's kind of both. But it's just kind of like we pulled out colored pencils and took our time playing and like had fun. My daughter, like, she made hers like each shape. She was like, this one's kind of like a hot dog, I guess. So she like drew it like a hot dog. Whereas like I was just doing like patterns like a quilt, but it was just kind of, it was just like coloring, and like who doesn't like coloring? So that one was just kind of more relaxing, I guess. Another one, I've been playing a lot on BGA, but I also got it in person and I've played several times in person. But the Takano Color, like the Takanoko that they made into one.
Is that good?
It is good. The paper's kind of thin and the markers are like a little strong. So it's like kind of like not tearing through, but it's kind of like, it's kind of a little rough, I think, as like a roll and write. Also, the markers are dice and like they just kind of roll wonky, and I don't know. I do like playing it on BGA a lot though, and I do think the game is good. It's good. I like the game. It's cute. It's kind of rated bad on BGG, but honestly, I like it. Like it's nothing crazy thinky and heavy, and I think people like, you know, that big combo-y aspect of roll and writes. But I don't know. I think it's nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I've been playing that I've really been enjoying. That was like the biggest one, I think, or the biggest two, I guess.
So that's Patchwork and Takano Color. Takano Color, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it.
So Gareth, you've chosen one. What's a favorite in your collection?
So it's quite difficult. I like heavier board games. So out of the list I picked up, I have gone for the re-implementation or the implementation of Fleet, fondly known as then Fleet the dice game. Keeping it simple. So we backed Fleet originally. That's a good question. What year was that? 2012 on a Kickstarter. And then to Tara's point, 6 years later, out comes Fleet the dice game. So it's got 2 sheets. So, you know, already got double the complexity because you've got 2 sheets to look after. But again, taking the core mechanics of you're basically gathering, you are launching ships, should I say. You're using those ships to fish for different types of fish. And it's just combo-tastic, looking for ways to score points through different tracks. And you've got the market where you can get extra points for like kind of set collection kind of thing. It definitely scratches my itch every time I play it. We're looking for a medium complexity roll and write.
Nice.
Good production.
Yeah, I feel like that is one that's like you always see Fleet the dice game and you rarely see Fleet the board game.
Yeah,
so
I don't think I've ever seen it in the wild.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Which makes me think I should go and try playing it because it's on the shelf. But again, that may be one where the Fleet dice game just gives me the fix. And actually, do I need to have the card version, which is your setup time? You've got to lay it out. It's space hungry because there's loads of cards on the table. So it's that, you know, it's a very quick implementation. But again, roll and writes, different settings, often used as a filler. This one we play as a game. So it's a it's a good half an hour, 45 minutes. But yeah, that was on my list. Highly recommend it. The expansion's worth getting as well, and is ranked about 583 at all Board Game Geek games, which is pretty respectable.
I didn't know it was that high. That's awesome.
It's a pretty respectable game. I think it's in print. Now saying these things about recommending games.
I love Fleet the Dice game. I think that was like one of the first heavier ones that I played, and I was like not expecting all of that from the roll and write, and I was like, I'm sorry, what is this? So and just keeping track of the combos sometimes is like a game in and of itself. Where it can be so much.
I'm doing stars, right? I haven't taken that bonus yet, and then that one. And I think, of the series, there's then Three Sisters, similar kind of twin mechanic, Motor City, and
French Quarter
at the same design base. But yeah, I think Fleet's my favourite still.
So y'all just went down the list of 25th century games, rolling rights.
Good stuff is killed off,
Motor City,
but those haven't got a parallel, so that's why they're not on my list. But
I do like Fleet a lot. However, I like the theme for Three Sisters, so that makes me go back to Three Sisters more than Fleet, just because. Well, I'm also vegan, so catching fish is not usually like at the top of my list. But I do. It is a very solid game, and
Three Sisters would be my second. Or we love Three Sisters.
That's good.
It's a lovely game.
Absolutely, that's one of our favorites as well.
PJ, I've got some others I'll cover later, some honourable mentions. I've already done one of those, which was Castle Burgundy Dice Game, which was Carrie's. But what about...
So, the one that I chose, because again, I have like 7 of them, and you've already named like 5 of them.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, you're going to get them all. But I think even mentioned really quickly, that is the Lost Cities rolling, right?
Yeah.
Now, Lost Cities... 1999 is when it came out.
Really?
Yeah, cool. Man.
And that's the version we have. So when Katie and I were dating, right, we were still in graduate school. For my birthday, she bought me my very first two-player games, right? She bought me Lost Cities, and she bought me Caesar and Cleopatra. But Lost Cities, we play that at least 3 times a week. It hits the table, right? And we really love the roll and write because I think you mentioned it. You can expand beyond the 2-player. One of the Lost Cities is, interestingly enough, the only game that we've brought to work and have played during our lunch break. It's not something that we do. I know a lot of gamers bring games to work and play them on their lunchtime, and we wrestle with, how do I get a game in? I got like a 30-minute lunch break, and 15 minutes of that is me eating. And then I've got to, it's like, we don't have a lot of time for a game, but Lost Cities Roll and Write is the only game we've ever brought to work to play during lunch. And there's a couple other gamers in our building who have come down to our office and we played it. And it's really great. It does a really good job of capturing the theme, but does something a little bit different than Lost Cities does. And I really enjoy that game a lot. Cosmos just knocks it out of the park every time.
Yeah, I don't know if you know too, or if you've ever played the board game of Lost Cities.
I have not played the board game.
So
Nor
I didn't know it existed.
No.
And I played Lost Cities on BGA with Dana from Better Mood board game.
Yep.
It's like a tongue twister. Anyway, but after we played it on BGA, I was like, I love this. So I went on my Facebook group, which we have like a super active Facebook group in Austin for like buying and selling board games. And I found a copy of Lost Cities, was like, great. Went and got it. And I was like, this box is huge for what this game was. Like, am I misremembering it? And then I opened it and it was a board game. And I was like, okay, I did not even know that this was a thing. So we played through it, and it is fun because it does make it 4-player. So it does like boost the player count too. But it is like super fiddly. You have these like little tokens that you have to set out, and then it's like the card game where you play it 3 times. So it's like constantly resetting, shuffling, and like doing all that. So that was the only thing I didn't really like, is that it just kind of was like a nuisance to set up for what the game was. But yeah, I think that the roll and write really fixes that, where it still gives you everything that you need, but it's not as like tedious for no reason.
It does. And it's got 6 colors. Lost City says 5, unless you get the promo, which gives you the 6th color. So,
I kind of like that newer one, because my board is double-sided and it has both of the colors.
Oh, you got the fancy
Not both, but
version.
like, sure, yeah.
Yep. You know, we were talking about, we did AI art last week. That's another game that didn't, the 2-player version of Lost Cities didn't change, but the artwork upgraded. They just, you know, so, yeah. But I love Lost Cities. So Lost Cities Rolling Right by Cosmos. That's my choice.
Good choice. I don't own it. I've just put it into my wish list.
Yep. Choo Choo.
Choo Choo.
Yeah, I really like the Lost Cities Rolling Right. That's a good one. I do like, I keep thinking like I wish I had different maps to play, but I don't know why. Like, I feel like it does it good enough. Like, I don't know why I feel like I want a different map for it. But yeah, that's a solid implementation, I think, of the card game. Another one I just did recently that I thought was really good was Cascadia. Or not Cascadia, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Well, sorry, I have played Cascadia, but not the
Yep.
Rolling Rights yet. I meant Cascadero, which their names are so similar, so I keep mixing them
Yep.
up. But yeah, I love Cascadero as a board game, so that was one that I was really excited to play as a roll and write.
Yeah, that was one. I think that was your, was it
I
your
think that was my
first
first
post?
one, yeah. I think so.
And that's when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, do you want to talk about this on the podcast?" And I was
Yes.
like, "Yeah, yeah." I've not played either the board game or the roll and write version of it. So, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, it's like the board game is just like, you know, classic like Reiner Knizia, I guess, where you're just kind of like tile placement, except for with little caravans and trying to make like there are some combos in it, which is another thing I've noticed. Like, you know, you play some board games which are just like they feel like you're playing a roll and write with the combos that you have. You know, like you do one thing and it triggers like another action. But that's kind of how that was. Like, it just kind of made sense to transfer over into a roll and write, I think, which also, speaking of like Millie Fury, I don't know if you've played that, but that super plays like a roll and write as a board game. So I have a feeling that that one would be switched over to a roll and write, but I don't know, or flip and write, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so you're just building caravans. You're trying to like make long chains, but it's also beneficial to kind of make short little chains so you can get bonuses like right away. That one does come with like 4 different maps in the roll and write too. And it does like a pretty solid re-implementation, I think. The board game is pretty interesting because like I played it first at 2 players, and we just kind of were on our own sides of the board and there was no player interaction, which I do think can be almost a downside of some of his games because there's not like he doesn't like put things in to like make games tighter when you're playing at a lower player count. So it's almost like you're playing a multiplayer solitaire game, even though you're playing on the same board, because it doesn't force player interaction. But then I played it at 3 and it immediately was a lot tighter of a game. So it's like, it's crazy how it just changes with the player count like that. But yeah, on the roll and write, you know, you're playing on your own sheet, and there are things that like if you do something, like other people have to cross it off on their sheet, but it's that one, like it just takes that game and splits it apart into a solitaire game. And I don't know, I think it does like a pretty decent job of breaking down. Like I said, it kind of was already like there as a board game where it did have its combos, so it just kind of like easily translated into that roll and write version.
That's another one written down on my list of games I didn't think I needed, but
it
does look beautiful. Yeah, it does look beautiful. The
board game is so pretty. Yeah, I can't. Like, it's so cute.
So the game that I'm really interested in is High Society, because I love Grand Austria Hotel. Huge fan, love it. Anytime it hits the table, I'm happy. I didn't know there was a roll and write until you just mentioned it. So tell me about High Society.
Yeah, so High Society, I actually haven't played it in person. It's kind of hard to find right now. It came out, and you know, like you said, you love a Grand Austria Hotel that has like a huge following, like a huge fan base. So yeah, that roll and write sold out pretty quick. Like there are copies of it on like BGG and stuff, and people selling it, but I haven't broke down and bought a copy yet. But I do play it a lot on BGA, so if you ever do want to play it, it is on there.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the way to go.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting. it's really hard to judge a game when you've only played it on BGA, I think. It does like a pretty good job like implementing it. It still has like the tracks that you go up. I can't remember, was it the general track that you go up and like you have to get to a certain point or you score negative points, and yeah, it translates like pretty well, I think, over into, because again, there's like dice already in the base game, so I feel like that makes an easy transition into a roll and write.
That's cool. I'm really excited about that. I've got to find it.
Yeah, it's been on a wish list. I've checked. It's okay in the UK. It's okay stock wise. It might have to be a Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just bought a game from the UK, actually. They have the Walking in Burano dice game.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it I couldn't find it like anywhere in the US, and I bought it from a board game store in the UK and just had it sent here.
That is commitment to the cause. You're creating a small museum of parallel games.
I love it.
You'll soon have the largest collection of twins board games globally. And when you're looking at the games, how do you review them or give it criteria when you're comparing the original to the redesign?
It's like kind of starting to happen, but no, not yet. Like it just was like a thing that I was starting to realize like how many versions there were. But I do think that like I don't even know like what my criteria would be necessarily. Like I think I would have to sit down and really decide like what makes a roll and write like worth it or good to me. Cause like, I recently played like La Granja and I like dove all into that and got like the big deluxe box that just came out. Like I hadn't played it before, but I was like, oh, whatever. Like this is happening. Like I pre-ordered it through my game store and got it. But yeah, I just got No Siesta, their roll and write version, and I haven't played it yet, but like like that excitement of getting a new game, I took it out, I punched it and like got it ready. You have to sticker all of the dice in that game,
right,
which
you do,
was like,
okay. I forgot that. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. But when like reading the rules and stuff, I noticed there's so much to it. Like you have the board, you have the roof tiles, you have all of that, and I'm just like, it is definitely a pared down version of La Granja by all means, but it's still so much game. So like, does that kind of take away the purpose of a roll and write? Like, should it be more compact than that? Like, does there need to be that many moving pieces? But like, I don't know. So I kind of need to figure out like.
Definitely worth a play. It's good.
Right.
But you're right. It is heavy. It's on. We've got a copy. And again, I've forgotten we had it downstairs. So it hasn't been played for ages. But I think it's that same reason. It's a little bit more complex and it has a lot of different rules. But it is,
and like you said,
fun.
Like Fleece the Dice game, you just pull out the sheets, rip them off, and start rolling dice. Like there's not much to it. Like even Three Sisters has like the board and everything. Like I don't know, right? Fleet is just dice, right? Like there's nothing else to it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else. So it kind of is like, at what point does it lose that like charm and ease of being a roll and write? I guess.
But I think these are questions worth asking, though. Right. I think that's
It's a bit like the Ida Cats piece. There's something around how different is it to the original. Is that good or bad? It depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for the same invitation but quicker, or is it enough that it's different? Because the other one I've got is Twilight Inscription, which is probably the heaviest, most complex roll and write that there is. Because it's based off its. I guess giant brother of Twilight Imperium, which is sort of the 10-hour marathon board game that we own. Right. We play once a year. But,
I actually have not played Twilight Imperium, but I have played Twilight Inscription a few times. And even that, it takes
it's okay.
We played in like 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Which is
but 2 hours is better than
10
or 13.
Yeah. And I hadn't played it when I got it before I'd played Twilight Imperium. So I had nothing to compare. But now I've played both. It does it takes the core mechanics, and it is different, but taking the exploration part. But that's one I have not played for a while either, PJ. That's one we maybe
but we played it this year. But you're right, we haven't played that one.
It's a good.
That's one we should do. We should play that.
We should have a face-off on Instagram, Tara, and talking about our favourite roll and rights. Just roll and rights as a whole.
Yeah,
because we have a lot, and it's a good set of games that always hit the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other?
It's
any other
easy
games? Any games coming up apart from Railroad Tiles that you've heard about?
to. I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to look at my list here. Um, I mean, Cascadia just came out with, I think two. They had like Rolling Rivers
That's it.
and
Rolling Hills.
Rolling Hills. That's the
Yes.
other one.
Yeah.
So I've started reading the rules for the roll and rides. I actually just played Cascadia for the first time the other day. I did borrow my friend's copy. I haven't
Okay.
played that yet, but I did enjoy it. It was good. We played it super fast, which is nice. You know, it's hard to. I don't know. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed either that like trend where uh everyone like wants to play like the heaviest, longest, hardest board games, and then like at a point I feel like you go back the other way where you're like, you know what, it is nice to just play games that play in like
Yes.
an hour. So yeah, I'm kind of like at that point now where I'm just like, I just want to play some games and hang out with my friends that I don't have to be like, sorry, I'm locked in, like, you know, where we can still chat and hang out and play games. So but yeah, Cascadia was good.
The other one, we mentioned it earlier before we started, was obviously you got Rolling Realms
Yes.
Yep.
from Stonemaier Games, which is, I think they're nearing 50 roll and write adaptations
Realms,
of realms of board games, which take kind of the core essence of the game and squeeze it into the smallest one single card roll and write.
I am impressed with how they're able to do that, honestly. Like every time I play one, I'm just like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, and it's crazy because it's just like one small thing from the game that they take, and I'm like, yeah, they really nailed like what made this game unique, or like what it was about this game that stands out.
That's when I teach it, and I'm teaching it to gamers. I often teach that game to lots of non-gamers because it's so accessible. But that's the best bit, is if they're played like Viticulture or Scythe, you're like, remember that bit? Well, that's all squeezed into this one card.
Yes.
So you never have to play Scythe again because there's your fix of up and down actions, that one action.
So speaking of Rolling Realms, Jamie Stegmaier did come out with a realm for Obsession. Our favorite game that
you've snuck it in again.
I did.
What a segue, PJ. Genius.
I know. Thanks for the help there, buddy.
That's no problem.
So when you roll the two dice in Rolling Realms, you either use a number that's higher than your current reputation, which starts at 1. So whatever die you roll, you can increase your reputation, or you can use a number that's less than or equal to your reputation to invite a guest, and you mark it on the card. And that's Obsession right there in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So it's the reputation and the guests. There's no servants or anything, but still, there's Obsession.
No, I did play that one. I forgot that I'd played it until you started describing it right there, because we played it right after Gen Con. We like opened it, and my friend got like every pack that they had at Gen Con, so we ripped them all open and organized his box. And I forgot that we had played the Obsession one, but yeah, that one it's pretty solid. You're right, it does encapsulate like the core of it pretty well.
And Gareth, I don't know if you realize this, but we are in the presence of royalty.
Oh, yes.
Tell me more.
So if you, when we're done recording, go look at your Obsession box, pull the game out, go through the guest cards. I think it's one of the prestige guests, but there's a Lady Tara.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she's
I need to get my card signed. Yeah.
I think she's in like the Cal. I don't even know the names of it. The one that starts you off with reputation, which is my favorite family.
Cavendish? Is it the Cavendish?
The Cavendish, maybe. Yeah. That's the one that she's in.
You're right. Now you say it. Yeah, because we always read out the names as the family members as they join, or as they leave, or as they, the prestige guests turn up. It's part of the etiquette of
absolutely
welcoming them to the family. I guess Rolling Realms doesn't. I mean, that's a series in its own right, isn't it? I mean, that is another whole.
I did just get Rolling Realms Redux. I had the regular Rolling Realms, or I shouldn't say had, because it's still on my shelf, but will be leaving soon.
Right.
Of the new one. Their packs are $5 each, and it's crazy when you add them to the cart and you feel like you're being modest, and then all of a sudden your total is $200. Yeah. So I did pare that back a bit. That was hard to whittle down, but I did it.
Yep.
But they have a Rolling Realms realm.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I haven't. Have you played that one yet?
Yeah,
We
I
have.
have. Yeah, yeah.
We have.
It works.
It does.
I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. So can you tell me what that one does?
So I have to remember. Isn't it the one with the 3 dice, PJ? And you're.
It is. It's the 3 dice.
You're
yeah.
I'll never forget.
You're
filling in the. You're filling in the size of dice.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the rest of the mechanics I couldn't tell you now. You put me on the spot, but it
I'm
is
sorry.
meta within the meta.
Yeah,
that's
that was really funny. Yeah,
that's a game that Katie and I regularly we get together with Craig and Becky, get into games, and Mrs. get into games, and we video chat, and we play Rolling Realms together, which is
nice.
how the game was designed to be played.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we do that a lot, but we don't all have the same realms because of all the add-ons. So it's like. There's a lot of them we just like. I've never played the Obsession realm because Craig and Becky don't have that, so it's like well, you can't, you know. But otherwise, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of realms, and I'd hate now going because I think I've missed the ones from last month. They're on their way currently, but the Redux box is full. I mean, there's no space left, so you're gonna have to rejig the box already. But I think that's it after this. I think there's only a few more, and it's finished.
I kind of hope so.
Yeah, I think Jamie sort of said that is the end.
And maybe that is a series. Just go and get the Big Brother, and then talk about the card and how that distills down to that one card.
I have on my series. Yeah, I've been wondering how to like do that because it's like I don't want to consider like that a roll and write version of Obsession, but like
I agree.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to make that like its own thing.
Yeah, its own sub series.
Right.
I think that we could approach Dan Halligan. I think that he could make a roll and write version of Obsession. I think one could be done. I think we could do it, and it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just terrible at game design, so I'm just a big picture guy. I give you the ideas, and you
maybe it's already on its way.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
we should have to get Dan back on the show. So I am. So I was looking. So things we haven't talked about, the games that we have just mentioned. So there's Trois and there's Trois Die. So that was
I didn't mention that one. I don't know how to pronounce it. How do you say it?
Trois.
Trois. It's just Trois.
Trois.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the French speakers please destroy my pronunciation of. There was Long Shot. We don't own Long Shot, but we have Long Shot, the dice game, which was our favourite kind of large group games. There's Raj of the Ganges, and then Raj of the Dice Charmers, I think it is, which is a nice. That's quite a complex one.
It is. That one's good.
And then the other one was the Imperial Settlers had one for Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, but that's one where it felt there was a peak. I don't know how old that game is actually, but there was a point when that became really popular in a year to rush out Roll and Write versions of games.
Yeah,
there was a real fad at some point, and that was one where it was rushed out. It's okay solo was quickly sold through. Actually, they've got an online app that plays it quite well. It's quite nice solo, but the actual game, you could just see it wasn't fully thought through. So that's one I don't. No, we've sold it. We've just got the original, just got the app that I use now.
Yeah.
But that's one must have been in the collection. So that one needs to come off the list. But that was my ones. PJ, any other mentions on your side?
No, you've hit all of them. I have no new ones
PJ.
in my collection to add. Yeah,
but we have got a list to buy some more because I have.
Yeah. I don't want to give away my like full list.
No, don't. No. Yeah. This is content.
This is my precious
future content.
So, I'll just give you little nuggets. But one of the big ones that just happened, though, that we can't fail to mention, I think, is Parks and the new Parks roll and write that just came out. So I did just get that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I don't know. Like, I feel like that one will be really good. I haven't read the rules for it yet, but it is very cute. My daughter and I were just like looking at the notebooks and stuff that come in it, and they just really made that one really nice.
Yeah, I've seen the announcement. I hadn't seen the artwork. It is lovely. I've just Googled it.
I did get Imperial Settlers, the dice game. I have not played or do not own Imperial Settlers, the board game. So that is one that I need to. And a new one I just discovered too is Woodcraft actually has a print and play roll.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, that one. My friend has a really nice printer, so he's printing for me. But I do have the board game.
Yeah, that was when I was looking through all the games on Board Game Geek,
Mm-hmm.
looking through to see where I had the match, and then Woodcraft came up, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I didn't know that."
interesting.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pleased to see that it was a print and play too. I think that's
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, so what's next? How often do you post on Instagram about these?
So, well, I would like to post every day, but sometimes, you just kind of get into like
Yeah.
a little bit of a rut.
Yep.
Where I don't know, like recently I feel like my pictures haven't been picturing. Like I'm taking pictures and I'm like, why is this not like my vision's not coming to life here? Which can sometimes be a hold up for me. But I am kind of torn right now though. I don't, first of all, I don't want to run through my list like
Yeah.
super quick.
Right.
Like I want this to be just kind of like an ongoing, like chill series. Like, okay, here's another one. Like, and I've been trying to think of maybe like a hashtag or something, but then I'm like, or is like Instagram like inundated with different hashtags for things?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. And I also don't want to set myself to like a rigorous schedule that I don't like. I just kind of want it to be like a natural thing. And then also like we were talking about, like it being the spooky season for games, I also have like a huge list of like, not like Halloween, fall, like that kind of games, and like moving into winter and stuff. So, I have like that I kind of want to post about too. I have some like review copies of games. So it's like just making it all fit. So I don't necessarily have like a full schedule. I was kind of doing like trying to do weekly, but I think weekly is too much. I feel like I'll run through it too quickly weekly.
Yeah,
so,
that was my question.
Yeah, probably I want to aim for like at least monthly, maybe bi-weekly at the most frequent, I guess.
Yeah.
Having a hashtag makes it for that series would help anyone who wants to follow that specific.
That's it.
Right.
I need a hashtag that just focuses on like the roll and write portion and not like roll and write Wednesday or something like that. Like, because I don't want it to be a cadence. I want it to be just a hashtag for the series.
At your own pace.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. I get that.
I will let you know if I think of one that's snappy, but so right now I don't have like a super plan. Like I said, it kind of just became like a thing, and like I do need to make it. I have a feeling it's going to become a bit more like structured in the way that I'm like comparing the games, like you said, like having kind of like a guideline of like how they fit together. But yeah, so I don't have that fully fleshed out yet. I feel like that's kind of developing as I realize how many dualities there are between that. And in finding this, I've also discovered, like we were talking about with Castles of Burgundy, that there are also card versions of games too, as well as the roll and write versions. So that's like a whole other beast. It's like this game, the card game, and so there's just like so many worlds out there of it's just is never ending.
So many. There's just so many. And we love them. We love them all. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So
so every few weeks I use AI to see what it would. So I just quickly ask our favorite friendly AI. What we can have as a series. So flip the script, board game reimaginations. It's quite nice. Or from board to pen, remakes of roll and writes.
Okay.
Anyway. That was a very quick prompt request.
That's pretty cool. I never thought about using that, but
you can have those.
Saying someone to write that down.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll copy them out, paste it in the chat.
Yeah, please do. I like flip the script. That's cute.
That was good. That was really good. I didn't think of that. Oh!
And this links last week's episode, which we've had a lot of discussion around, which was the use of AI in board games and design and where it's a tool versus, I guess, that replacement.
Yeah,
that's just an idea generation.
And then here's another trend, right? So the trend is using AI in art. Now we've got the trend of creating a parallel roll and write version of your game, right? So are we at that time? I think
we're at that time where you need to tell us what last week's voiceover was.
Last week's voiceover was the game Gartenbau.
Yeah, which I'd never heard of.
Which you had never heard of, but Chris guessed it correctly off air. So what I'm going to do, Tara, is I'm going to read an intro from a roll and write game, although in all fairness, it's not a parallel. it's going to be kind of obvious, but I'm going to read it. I'll let you guess it, but we won't reveal it until next week to our listeners.
Okay.
And so here we go. Welcome to the heart of New Orleans. You're in town for a weekend trip with plans to spend your Saturday evening taking in as many of the city's unique sights and sounds as possible in a mere 8 hours. Whether it's the distinct food, the local culture, shopping hotspots, mystic customs, or the vibrant nightlife, there's something to experience on practically every corner. There's live jazz everywhere you go, and NOLA is world famous for its street performers. Make sure you don't miss the spontaneous wedding parades, known locally as second lines, that roll through the narrow streets. Play it safe or go wild. It's your choice. As you navigate the city, your map will serve as both a guidebook and a memento of your trip. Reunite with your friends at the end of the night to compare notes and swap stories.
Even I've got that this week.
I know you do.
I'm there already.
It's such a good one. It's such a good one. And after I'm done reading it, I realize I should have done it in my native accent, but I didn't. So.
Oh, that would have been good.
I feel as if I've missed out on an opportunity to hear a native accent.
You did.
Okay, Tara, remind me where we find you on Instagram.
Yes.
What is your handle?
Yes, my handle is Tara's Tabletop.
Tara's Tabletop. Right, listeners. Tara, firstly, thank you for joining us this week. Really enjoyable episode.
Yes.
My shopping list has grown. I have the catchphrase Choo Choo to share across the United Kingdom.
I'm so excited.
So it can go international. PJ, anything from you?
That's all I got, Tara. Thank you for agreeing to be on the show and coming up with this topic. This was great. This is one of our best in almost an hour. So we're doing really well.
I appreciate you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. And my first podcast ever. So this is exciting.
No, thank you for joining us.
Love it.
Right, everyone, please go follow Tara. And thank you for listening. And we will speak to you all again soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Please subscribe. And as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments. And don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram @Meeple to Meeple.